Would you believe me if I told you the brightest player on Earth once felt utterly finished, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, simply because a tiny white ball wouldn't behave the way the world expected it to? This is Lionel Messi, and in the summer of 2016, he stood on the edge of walking away from international football after the Copa América Centenario final, a night of penalties, silence, and a decision that sent shockwaves through Argentina and the footballing world. But this is only one chapter in a long story of pressure, obsession, and the choices a man makes when the weight of a nation sits on his shoulders. First, we need to go back to that stadium in New Jersey, to the penalty that went over the bar, the locker room promise, and the media storms that followed. By 2016, Messi wasn't just a superstar. He was the human measure of footballing greatness. Club trophies stacked, records shattered. But for all his glitter at Barcelona, an international title with Argentina had slipped away time and again. The World Cup final in 2014, the Copa América finals in 2015 and 2016. Centenario in New Jersey was supposed to be the release valve, the moment to free the weight he carried for his homeland. Instead, the final wound up as a frozen 0-0, a test of nerve that would be decided by spot kicks. And when La Albiceleste marched up to the penalty mark, the world watched Lionel Messi, number 10, captain, talisman, step forward and miss. Argentina lost 4-2 on penalties to Chile after a goalless draw. That miss and that defeat set the scene for everything that followed. It's strange how a single moment can rewrite narrative. Penalties are both cruel and clarifying. They compress fear, skill, and fate into one tiny exchange. Messi's penalty sailed over the crossbar. For a man whose life was measured in inches and subtleties, the collective gasp felt seismic. Cameras caught him, at first stunned, then bowed under emotion. Players who had been colleagues for years gathered around, some murmuring consolation, others staring at the turf. In the immediate aftermath, emotion wasn't performative, it was real and unfiltered. The image of Messi in tears, not angered, not petulant, but visibly devastated, became the headline for newspapers and the gif that spread across social media within minutes.
If the stadium was a theatre, the locker room is where the play ends and the truth sometimes slips out. That night, in a moment of raw, exhausted honesty, Messi told reporters, "My thinking right now and thinking about it in the locker room, I'm done playing with the national team." The words landed like a grenade. For a player of his age and ability to say "I'm finished" was unthinkable, except that the feeling behind it was anything but theatrical. It was the culmination of years of near misses and the public's relentless calculus of what he hadn't achieved for his country. That declaration of retirement became one of the most discussed statements in football for weeks, and in Argentina, newspapers splashed the news across their front pages. When one of the planet's most famous people says he's done, everyone interprets it like a weather report. Fans begged him to reconsider. Pundits called the move dramatic, some called it selfish. Social media erupted into polarized camps, those who saw a hero pushed to the brink, and those who saw an elite athlete missing the point about team responsibility. And while he had a stumble in the 2016 Copa América final, it wasn't close to the 8-2 humiliation with Bayern Munich in the Champions League quarter-finals of 2020.
You see, by 2020, Messi was no longer just a talisman. He was Barca's linchpin, and also its most visible fault line. The club, under President Josep Maria Bartomeu, had been making questionable decisions. Marquee signings who often underperformed, Dembele, Griezmann, Felipe Coutinho. Coaching instability, and a sense that club leadership wasn't aligning with Messi's ambition or demands. The first major public crack came when Ernesto Valverde was sacked, and Messi purportedly questioned whether the club's sporting direction was coherent. He openly criticized technical leadership like Eric Abidal, and signaling he believed the squad needed renewal, younger players, a project he could believe in. Tensions rose during the COVID-19 pandemic. The club asked players to take big pay cuts, while some directors made insinuations that players were reluctant. Messi reacted publicly. He said the players had taken the hit and criticized the tone from the board and certain officials. He felt disrespected, not just on the pitch, but in how decisions were made, how loyalty was treated. Then came the night that seemed to break something inside the club and inside Messi. August 14, 2020, Champions League quarter-finals. Barca were crushed 8-2 at the hands of Bayern Munich. It wasn't just a loss, it was a public, historic humiliation. From the opening minutes, things unraveled. Bayern's high press, precision passing, and attacking ruthlessness exposed Barca's weak defensive structure. Messi tried to spark something, tried dribbles, tried passes, but the rest of the team crumbled. Errors piled up, Barca conceded goal after goal. Players looked lost, fragmented. Fans and pundits called it rock bottom. After the match, in interviews, Gerard Piqué said the club had hit rock bottom. And for Messi, who had always believed Barca would protect him and let him finish his journey there, this was personal. By mid-2021, the words financial and structural obstacles were no longer abstractions, they were walls. Barcelona had annual losses nearing €487 million for 2020-21, very high debt, over €1 billion by some accounts, wage bills that exceeded revenues massively, and salary cap constraints enforced by La Liga. Even contracts that had been agreed couldn't be formalized because of these rules. Messi's proposed new deal involved a huge pay cut. He was willing, but it still didn't solve everything under the regulations. Moreover, the project Messi had wanted, a renewal of the squad, a plan for success, was not coming together in the way he expected. When John Laporta returned as president, he inherited chaos, and even he couldn't immediately fix the finance. On August 5, 2021, FC Barcelona released an official statement. Although an agreement had been reached with Messi on a new contract, economic and structural obstacles meant it couldn't be formalized. Messi, the hometown hero, the scorer of goals, the captain, would leave. The departure was tearful, the press conference was emotional. Messi said he didn't want to leave, that it was his home, that he thought he could stay, that he wanted to stay. But love, as we saw, wasn't enough to overcome regulation, debt, and broken boards. It was one of the most touching and also most tragic moments in modern football. When he left, it wasn't as a conqueror, but as a man who had done everything he could, played every match, scored every goal, captained every time, tolerated every wrong, and held on as long as possible. But the pressure, disappointment, and burden were too heavy. And if you think this was a situation that took a toll on Messi, then this next chapter would reveal how Messi's career almost ended with him going to jail. By 2013, Messi was already known globally, not just for his goals, but for his image, for endorsements, sponsorships, appearances, ads. Adidas, Pepsi, Danone, Procter & Gamble, the Kuwait Food Company. These companies paid him for commercials, branding, and license deals. But with huge image rights income comes complexity. Contracts, tax obligations, legal structures. Somewhere in that complexity, something broke. Between 2007 and 2009, Messi and his father, Jorge Horacio Messi, were accused by Spanish tax authorities of using shell companies in Belize and Uruguay to hide about €4.1 million in income from the sale and licensing of Messi's image rights. The idea wasn't new. Many top athletes around that time were under scrutiny for similar practices. But Messi, with his star power, became a focus. The public's expectation that greatness comes with perfection, even off the pitch, made the stakes higher. The case formally came to court in June 2016. Messi, by then around 28-29, appeared alongside his father. The trial's charges, 3 counts of tax fraud, according to prosecutors. Messi was painted as having allowed image rights revenues to be routed through companies outside Spain to avoid paying taxes. The authorities viewed this as a deliberate evasion. Messi took the stand. He spoke calmly but firmly. "I was playing football. I had no idea about anything. I trusted my dad and the lawyers. I signed them because he told me to, because I trusted him. It never occurred to me that he would fool me or disappoint me." His father, Jorge, echoed similar words. On July 6, 2016, the verdict came in. Messi and his father found guilty on 3 counts of tax fraud. Each was sentenced to 21 months in prison, fined Messi about €2 million, Jorge about €1.5 million. There was a catch. Under Spanish law, first offenders convicted of non-violent crimes with sentences under 2 years can often avoid going to jail, serving instead under probation or having sentences suspended. That meant Messi was very unlikely to actually see prison walls for this. Messi and his father also had to pay what had already been voluntarily paid back years earlier. In 2013, after the investigation began, they made a payment of about €5 million to cover taxes and interest. That didn't make the trial disappear, but was considered in mitigation. And while this ends the crisis Messi experienced with the tax law enforcements, this next chapter was a burden and stain that hunted Messi's career. Caused by 2014, Messi had already won everything club football could offer. La Liga titles, Champions Leagues, Ballon d'Ors. But the one prize that constantly bigged up the weight on his shoulders was the World Cup. Argentina hadn't won a World Cup since 1986, and Messi was constantly compared to Maradona, a man who had delivered in '86. The expectations were enormous. Argentina's squad was built around Messi, but also included capable stars: Higuain, Di Maria, Aguero, and others. In the warm-ups and group stage, Messi showed flashes of his brilliance. He scored in the group matches, showed creativity, drive, moments of magic. Many tipped Argentina as one of the finalists. Messi's coach, Alejandro Sabella, let the team flow around Messi when needed, but also tried to build a disciplined defense and midfield to support him. Ice-cold pressure, expectations from millions, history looming. Everything suggested this could be the year. Messi entered the tournament strong. He scored goals in the opening matches, the match versus Iran, versus Bosnia and Herzegovina, etc. He finished the group stage with 4 goals. He was creative, dangerous, dribbling past defenders, making key passes. But as the knockouts arrived, the games grew tighter. Argentina had to deal with pressure, with teams defending deep. Messi was sometimes crowded, sometimes isolated. His teammates had moments of brilliance, but the margin for error closed sharply. In quarterfinals and semis, Argentina scraped through. They defended extremely well. Goals were hard to come by. The weight of what winning the final meant grew heavier with each match. The burden wasn't just physical, it was in every thought, every press conference, every media headline.
Then came the moment. Andre Schürrle broke down the left, crossed in. Mario Götze, the substitute, controlled it with his chest and volleyed left-footed into the net. 113th minute. Germany took the lead. Argentina's dreams were dashed. Messi, as captain, had to lead from despair. Germany, the one European team to win a World Cup in the Americas, lifted the trophy. Argentina was devastated. The final whistle blew, 1-0. Germany were world champions. Messi walked up to accept the Golden Ball for best player of the tournament, but it meant almost nothing in that moment. After the match, he said things like, "Nothing can console me. I wanted to take Argentina to the World Cup for all the people." He admitted they had chances, 3 clear chances according to him: his chance, Higuain's, Rodrigo Palacios. He lamented that they deserved more. He expressed anger, sadness, and the sense that personal records and awards are nothing if you don't have the trophy. And while Messi was facing the worst crisis of his career, Jordi Alba was almost denied the chance of being a professional footballer. Check out this next video to see how, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification for more content like this. So see you in the next video.